Bhargavi, are you in the class? Is my voice? Yes, Ahmed. Is my voice is clear now? Ahmed?
Hi, good morning. Yes, your voice is clear to me.
Right. Yeah, today we are going to, I'm going to discuss on unit number 11 and 12, the last block of this course book, the history of
Okay.
press, the history of press, history of journalism. In the unit number 11, history of press in India, and unit number 12, journalism in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh.
Sure.
Okay, voice is clear. My voice is clear.
Yes, your voice is clear to me.
Right. Yes, Ahmed. Ahmed, Mr. Amit, Ahmed, yeah.
Yes, sir. I
Yeah.
can hear
Okay. How you are feeling on about these journalism classes?
you. I actually have attended only last class. That was last week.
Last 2 weeks you are in the class, I think so.
Saturday and Sunday I was there, and today I'm here.
That is
Oh, what
okay.
as I requested you for
No,
the notes.
no, we will share you. You have given your number also. You have shared your number in the WhatsApp. I will share you once all today is the last class. After
Yes.
completed class, I will give you all 12 lessons at a time.
Yes. If you can actually share the notes, then I think I can
I,
actually write it while after going through the
uh,
notes.
yeah, I have prepared in a short notes like a PowerPoint presentation. It is easy to you. I have prepared it is in a short notes like a short notes. It is easy to you to understand. Don't worry. Uh,
Will there be any important questions out of that?
no, no. Last time only I have suggested you some one
Yes, yes.
suggestion
You
bank.
told me. I
It's,
mean, one from each.
yeah, that is a better way to handle this examination. Right. Will share. We'll go to the unit number 11.
The other lecturer also, I think she was from English literature. She also
Okay.
told me the same thing that,
Hmm.
if I give you further notes and all that, you'll be confused. I have got textbooks and all that. So, as you mentioned, I will actually do the same thing with other subjects too.
That is the best way to handle your examination easily.
From each unit, I have to actually take one topic.
Yeah, because you have a options, you have a choice-based choices in your question paper. So at least one question from comes from one black,
Okay, one
right?
question comes from one block. Okay.
For
So
long answers and
how many questions will be there? I
No,
mean,
no, long answers alternate A and B for section 2. Wait a minute.
sorry?
Wait a minute. Wait.
So you're muted. I'm not able to hear you. You muted yourself.
Yeah, I received one phone call. Okay. Uh, yes, something you have asked.
Sorry?
Something you are asking, something
No, as you were telling me, one question from each block
yeah,
if you actually take.
yes, that is a better way to handle the examination orientation.
Uh-huh.
Right? No, no problem. It is very simple. And in coming to the journalism subject, it is very simple. Just you have to remember some. This is a basic. Basic means initial level. That is
Mm-hmm.
the semester one. There is a we have given definitions. Definition orientation means this is a only a basic level in this.
Okay.
Just we have given some definitions of communication and mass communication journalism and some theories and models. Those theories and models not in a in-depth, just we have given in a short, very shortcut. Only you have to remember just a few words of every theory or model. And again, this block, the 11th unit 11 and 12 from the block number 5, just we are giving here history. For what? Just you have to know the what is the history of journalism as a journalism student. Okay? As a journalism student, you have to know what is the history. In this history, again, you need not to mention exactly the numbers, means number of years, the coding of year of the publication like this. If you just you remember some very a few, I will give you in the PPTs. Based that you can answer easily a question from this a long question from this block also. For the section 1, there is a 10 questions. You have to write 5 questions, 5 answers only. Again,
Okay.
twice. And in the section 2, you have alternative questions. A or B, either one you have to write. Again, section C is a creativity, means entire textbook. It's the question comes from the reflection of the entire question textbook and not as like as a print version. Just you have to create something. The question maybe analyze mode. Otherwise, some you have to criticize mode. So it is even though after reading or after listening the all process, you can answer easily for the section C also. For the section C, you may write at least 4 or 5 pages. Just you have to think what you have learned in this classroom, in this class, in this semester. This is applicable for all subjects.
Okay.
Right. Semester unit number 3. I will share the screen. PPTs. It's easy to us. Unit number 11, History of Press in India. In this unit, we will just, this is in a one unit, we have given the one unit of history of our press and journalism, mass communication in India. In this unit, we will know about the major aspects like first newspaper and important persons who are played a main role to establish journalism in India and establishment of major newspapers and role of press in the freedom struggle, eminent journalists, post-independence, what is the press situation, the press and national emergency, another stage, and again the important stage is now we are experiencing in the 1991 new liberalization policy. So now what we are experiencing social media, new media, all those under the new policy only, 1991 new policy only, we are experiencing the advanced journalism in India, right? East India Company over 200 years ruled India, all of it. Actually, from the East India Company only, the first initial stage who have introduced journalism in India by the Britishers only, not by the Indians. Because even though Britishers means in Britain there is another act, there is a freedom of press is there, not exactly freedom of the press, but there is a that kind of freedom is there in Britain land, but there is a no
Okay.
freedom in the India. These are in 1970s, 1700s century. So from the Britishers only they plan, so they want to evaluate, they want to uh, come up with some backdrops of the British rules. So they started the newspapers in India. The press in India, controlled by Englishmen, drew its strength from the power of the press in England. So in England there is a press is a good in good condition. So based on that strength in India, James Augustus Hickey is the father of the press in India. James Augustus Hickey has the distinction of launching the first newspaper in India. The name of the
Augustus Hickey.
newspaper, the name of the newspaper is the Bengal Gazette. It will come, don't worry, I will tell you again. There is a 4 phases in Indian history of press. The stage 1 is inaugurated by Buckingham after the Augustus Hickey. The legacy continued by the Buckingham and the Indian reformer Raja Rammohun Roy, all this. So stage 1, 1880 to 1868 is inaugurated by Buckingham and includes the inspiring efforts of Raja Rammohun Roy, the struggle against censorship, harassment, deportation, and persecution, the struggle to establish some measure of freedom of expression, the dilemmas of colonial rulers. Stage 1, this is the stage 1. And coming to the stage 2, 1868 to 1919, witnessed the rise of Indian press as a part of the nationalist or anti-imperialist struggle and the manifestation of 2 lines or 2 tendencies in the press. Another stage is 1919 to 1937, sees the differentiation of the Indian press into moderate and radical tendencies in relation to the strategy and tactics of the freedom movement. This third stage is mainly focused on the freedom movement. This is so in this stage only the role of press in India, role of press in freedom struggle. In the 4th stage is the nurturing of assertive tendencies in the press and significant professional developments such as the news services, the pooling of arrangements, and the expanded coverage of foreign news. Only earlier there is no such agencies, news services means earlier only newspapers, some newspapers are there printing all over from India. In this stage, in this 4th stage, separately news services started by the private agencies, and they are in the 4th stage. Foreign news also coverage done in the 4th stage. Now coming to the first newspaper in India started by the James Augustus Hickey. The title of the newspaper is Bengal Gazette. alias Calcutta General Advertiser, came out on January 29, 1780 in Calcutta. Sorry, something. Actually, it is a 1778. Yeah, it is a 1780, and it is closed in a within a 2 years only. Because the British East India rulers, they thought that the paper is against the British government. The news coming in the newspaper against the British government. So that is why they they imposed the censorship. They stopped it. So there is a only the first newspaper who run only 2 years only. Okay, 19. The paper is called the James Augustus Speaky. The other name is also Speaky's Bengal Gazette and Calcutta General Advertiser. There is a two names for this newspaper. Mainly focused on the news orientation. Earlier than there is a publications in the history of India, means like some religious contribution, like some Hita Bodhini, Satyaduta, and many other newspapers. Is newspapers not? Those are the papers only, printing publications only. What is news? News means exactly which is covers the 5 WH: who, what, where, when, why, and how. So that is a new one is a new information is called news. So mostly this newspaper is called the first newspaper in India, and the starting first newspaper of in India is published in the 1988. 1980.
1780.
1780.
So it ended in 1782.
Yeah, it's ended in 1782 only. Only 2 years it is published. And another important person in the Indian journalism history, James Silk Buckingham, who is also from the British, who is also a Britisher.
So
That was
James
Silk
Augustus Hickey actually started.
Yes, he is also Britisher only. And James Silk Buckingham also Britisher only. He is the editor of the Calcutta Chronicle. He is the first person means it's a kind of a pure journalism from the James Silk Buckingham only. Earlier James Hickey, Augustus Hickey is also given some news orientation, and many of is only advertisement orientation. The news information is based only more related to the advertisements and limit to the news. Editorial level, the 19th century, James Silk Buckingham is a eminent journalist. Another one is Raja Ram Mohan Rai. This Kolkata Chronicle started in 1918, October 2nd, like in 1918. Again, another important journalist is journalist means journalist and reformer and socialist, poet is Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Main first kind of newspapers were published from the Kolkata. Nowadays Kolkata, earlier it is Kolkata, from the Bengal only. So the press started in India from the Bengal province only. Later Mumbai, Madras also significance. Mumbai and Madras also played a significant role in the journalism of history of the journalism. Raja Ram Mohan Rai is the founder the Sambandh Kaumudi. The meaning of it is a moon of intelligence in 1821 in Calcutta. Due to the success of another rival, is the Samachar Chandrika, Rai was forced to close it down in 1822. Again, the another this Samband Kaumudi also closed in a few years only. By 1920, in a year only, just 1822 only, it is closed because there is some acts which is imposed by the British government. So no paper is run a long run. Acts like will first discuss on these acts. Censorship of Press Act 1799, Licensing Regulations Act 1823, Press Act of 1835, or Metcalfe Licensing Act 1857, Registration Act 1867, Vernacular Press Act 1878, Newspaper Incitement to Offence Act 1908, Indian Press Act 1910. These acts,
Sir, can you show the slide? Sir, can you show the slide of it?
like, it is not appearing on me.
It is not. Even the previous slide was not appeared. Yeah, which was the slide previous to this?
No, previously just I have moved only because of first we have to discuss on the acts. Later we'll go to the again previous one.
Sure,
Is,
sure.
is it appearing? No.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, these are some important acts which, based on these acts, the British government curbed the press in India. Press means then only the newspaper is only available. No radio, even though no radio, no television available in those days. Only the newspaper is the only channel for the communication, right? So that is why all this. That is why they call it as a press. Yeah, this is the earlier only. Just we have discussed in this earlier slide, James Buckingham and about Raja Ram Mohan Rai. There is a in the textbook we have when the Raja Ram Mohan Rai is born. Means this is 1772 to 1833, but and death. So and what is the slogan given by the Jawaharlal Nehru? Described the founder Jawaharlal Nehru as a founder of the Indian press. He quoted Raja Ram Mohan Rai is the founder of the Indian press. Earlier, actually started by the Hickes Augustus, James Hickes Augustus. He is the father of the Indian journalism, but here Jawaharlal Nehru quoted the founder of the Indian press is Raja Ram Mohan Rai.
So James Augustus Hickey was the first one, and it was actually followed by James Hill Buckingham.
Yes. Then after many of the Britishers who started their journals in the India, they started printing the journals, the newspapers in India. But all those are lost in a couple of months or years because of the strict rules by the British government. Again, coming to the Indian origin, Raja Ram Mohan Rai is the founder of the Indian press. Okay. Why the newspapers are not last long? Because of the acts which are curbed the press in India. But there is in England, there is a freedom for the press. But the same concept who were started in India, they thought that the same kind of freedom is available in India also, but it is not happened. So again, the new acts and related to curb the Indian press the British rulers imposed some acts against the press. So there is no surveillance of the press during the 19 up to 1850s. 1850s only the significance development in journalism is happened in India. Many newspapers, many English newspapers came into the to publish English and Hindi and vernacular newspapers published from the 1850s after 1850s only. These are the major acts which are controlled the Indian press. Okay, need not to repeat again. Coming to the important newspapers published in the India, the establishment of major newspapers. The main one is the number one is the here is we have not given in the chronological order, just we have given in the normal only. The Anand Bazar Patrika is the oldest Indian owned daily. Other newspapers which are just started by the Britishers, later converted to the Indian ownership. For example, the Hindu. Actually, the Hindu is started by the Britishers, later it is taken up by a group of young persons who are now they are running. So not like that only. The Amrit Bazar Patrika is the oldest Indian owned daily, and in 1920 it is started. The best nationalist paper, it is called as the best nationalist paper in India. It was born as a weekly in Bengal, the Amrit Bazar Patrika, weekly in Bengal in February 1868, in the village of Amrit Bazar in Jessore district, now in Bangladesh. Earlier Bangladesh in the province of Bengal only, right? Then the Patrika moved to the Calcutta headquarters. The initial stage of Indian press is located at the Calcutta only. And more about the Amrit Bazar, the Patrika moved in 1871 to the Calcutta, and it started a bilingual weekly publishing news and views of in English along with the Bengali. The Patrika is started as a daily in 1891. That is some historical lines is there in the textbook. Just you go with the textbook and you find it out. Whether if you have remember, you can write in the examination. Otherwise, just orally what you have learned in the classroom, just you write down it. No problem. No need to write every number of the year in the text. Just your concept, because this is not a history subject. So just if you have remember, you may write it. If you don't remember, just you give some inputs like what you are listening in the classroom, just who is founded and what is the basis, which is language, who are the main person of the Patrika. So the simple points if you remember, that is why you make it a short notes based on the textbook. You just give a like Amrit Bazar Patrika started in 1861, and initially it is a bi-weekly, then weekly, and it is started in the Jessore village of present-day Bangladesh and moved to the Calcutta and started a daily in 1871. Like these are the simple things. If you remember, you may write it. Otherwise, you just remember, you mention the year. If not, you no need to mention. Like another one is the Hindu. The Hindu. The Hindu paper is from Madras in 1878, September 20. Six men of all those are 20s founded the Hindu newspaper. Later, now it is in Kasturi and Sons group. Okay, but this is also a major newspaper which is started publication in 19th century. And earlier there is a team like a Subramanya Iyer and some Chettiar. Those are the main part played to establish the Hindu newspaper. And again there is a changes. Now it is in the hands of the Kasturi and Sons. Another major newspaper is the Statesman. Now, actually, the Statesman is not. Earlier it is rolled a big. The Statesman's role is a wide role in the Bengal area. Now, the is limited. Even the Hindu, the Times of India, the Tribune, the Times of India, and the Hindu still is surviving. But the Tribune and the Statesman now the publication, the circulation is little only. The Statesman is another important newspaper which is described as the Manchester Guardian of the East. The Statesman another quote.
What is the name, sir? Statement.
The Statesman is the newspaper name. Manchester Guardian of the East. Robert Knight is the founder of the newspaper. He is also a Britisher and encouraged by, inspired by the Silk Buckingham. So he started this newspaper. Now this Statesman is an Indian, means now later this changes to the Indians only. The management is now Indians only. Another one is Times of India. Now the present is still continuing the legacy. The Times of India still. Robert Knight is from the Statesman. He came to the Times of India. Dr. Robert Knight became the editor of the Bombay Times, and by merging into two other newspapers, renamed it Times of India in 1861. Okay, the first issue of the Bombay Times, a bi-weekly, appeared on November 3, 1838. So we call it is the starting newspaper, the establishment of the newspaper. Actually, this is here Bombay Times at the year of 1838. This is just for the historical background, is for the awareness purpose only, not to be the focus. Just we have to know what newspapers, major newspapers, who are the major journalists, and what are the major incidents played for the freedom struggle. Just in the orientation of historical orientation is here to discuss, to know the history of the press in India. The Tribune is another newspaper. The Tribune was started as a weekly in Lahore in 1881 by Sardar Daya Singh Majatiya, who was a great admirer of Raja Ram Mohan Rai and Brahmo Samaj. The Tribune is now publishing from the Pakistan, and it is in the hands of the now India Pakistanis. Earlier, there is a Tribune from the Chandigarh. Earlier, it is dating up to 1619. The publication is from the Chandigarh also. The paper whose editor then was Madhavan Nair. Got into trouble with the government of India during the emergency emergence in 1975. It was one of the three papers blacklisted by the government and denied advertisements and other facilities. So two sister papers, one in Punjab and the other in Hindi, Punjabi Tribune and Dainik Tribune, were started in 1978 and were an instant success. The information which is we have given in the textbook, just as a historical orientation, you go with you just read through the textbook, you will get the information and find out the important names, persons, and years, and the place where the starting paper is published. Paper was published. And here we have to know about the eminent journalists also, like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Annie Besant, Mahatma Gandhi. Bal Gangadhar Tilak from the 20th century.
We're not able to see the slide.
Yes, one second. So Bal Gangadhar Tilak is a freedom fighter and is a eminent journalist and social reformer from the Maharashtra, and Swadeshi movement his concept is Swadeshi movement, and he started many 2 or 3 newspapers in the time of freedom struggle. So we called him Lion of Maharashtra also, and the Tilak began his journalism career when he and his associates started the Kesari in a Marathi, and Maratha is an English newspaper. Here you have to remember, Kesari is the Marathi newspaper and Maratha is the English newspaper. Started in the January 1881. It was announced that the Kesari would deal with the political and economic development in the country and also world events. And the another paper, Maratha sets as a authoritative.
Is that the next slide? Is that the next slide?
Yeah,
Because we still see history of press in India.
No, that is why, because there is no particular slide for the eminent journalist. That is why I came back to the first page. So here just I'm reading out just I'm telling about the Bal Gangadhar Tilak. So only remember that Bal Gangadhar Tilak from the Maharashtra, 2 newspapers are the Kesari of the Marathi language, Maratha of English language, and is the Lion of Maharashtra is a title, and so he played a major role in the freedom fighting. And again here also the press clubs, the Kesari paper also started in the 1881 only, but ended in the 1882 only. So only for the 1 year only it is running. Another important person is Annie Besant. Annie Besant had worked in England on the staff of the journal National Reformer. She acquired a daily newspaper, the Madras Standard, and ran it as a New India from 1914. Madras Journal Madras Standard is the newspaper. She was working with the Madras Standard, and later renamed it is a New India from 1914. But there is a no survivance of this weekly newspaper. Just she is also one of the important person in the important journalist in the India during the freedom of the press, and she has associated with the other newspapers like Swarajya, which is owned by the Prakasham. Tangaturi Prakasham is the own. She has worked with this newspaper, Swarajya, a English newspaper. The owner is the Tangaturi Prakasham. Tangaturi Prakasham is later he became a chief minister of Andhra Pradesh, Andhra. Another one is Mahatma Gandhi. What is associated with the press with the Mahatma Gandhi is he has started two newspapers. The Harijan is the one, and the another one is the Young India, and is also worked with the Navajivan. These three newspapers you have to remember with the association of the Mahatma Gandhi. The Navajivan, Young India in English, and the Harijan also in English newspaper, English weekly newspaper. So that is why Mahatma Gandhi is also one of the eminent journalists of Indian origin, Indian press. Now coming to the post-independence, after independence, the then government, the Nehru government appointed two press commissions to regulate and to give some such guidance to the press. The first press commission, was appointed in September 1952 under the chairmanship of Justice G.S. Rajadhyaksha. Just here you have to remember the first commission chairman is the Rajadhyaksha, and other members also, other 10 members included, but not required to remember this, because if you may be confused. And the commission submitted report in 1954, made several important recommendations which helped in constituting a number of institutions and organizing the profession of journalism in a systematic manner. Based on the first press commission, what is the first press commission is recommended to constitute some professional journalism institutions. The second press commission was set up in May 1978 under the chairmanship of P.C. Goswami, but Goswami and his colleagues on the commission resigned in January 1980. The press commission, after emergency, the new government is formed. The Janata government is formed after emergency in 1977. The new Janata government set up this second press commission under the chairmanship of P.C. Goswami. But after 2 years again, in 1980, again the new government, the Indira Gandhi came to the power. So the press commission is automatically, so the members of the press commission, they were resigned. Again, reconstituted the second press commission in 1980 under the chairmanship of Justice K.K. Mathew. It is clear?
Yes, sir, that's fine.
Right. So the second press commission also given some recommendations like either any press first or second, they were focused on the training and professionalism in the journalism and some institutions also. So based on the second press commission, Indian Institute of Mass Communication established. Some recommendations also given by the press commission for training, safeguard of the journalist and some ownership patterns, management practices also, economic of the newspaper industry. These are some major recommendations made by the second press commission. So we have a short time for this to conclude the session. We'll go with the other unit. Any doubts so far from the unit number 11? Afreen is in the class. Afreen is in the class. From which center is Afreen? Hyderabad or Kupetpally? Okay, we'll go with the next unit. Just history of the Telugu journalism. Journalism in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh means there is a history of the Telugu only. Telugu and also English and Urdu also covers in this unit. A brief history of journalism in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh and the press in the Nizam's period. Then the combined Andhra Pradesh, before that the Andhra is under the Madras presidency and Telangana and some Marathwada, Kannada, some regions, some districts of the Karnataka is under the British, under the Nizam's rule, and the major part of, and some what we are nowadays, Andhra Pradesh is under the Madras presidency, right? There is also some important journalists, as we have discussed in the earlier unit, like Mahatma Gandhi, Annie Besant, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, like there is also eminent journalists in the Telugu region like Kandukuri Veereshwaran Pantulu, Kashi Nageshwar Rao, like, and press after formation of Telangana state. So we have a significant role played in the separate Telangana movement also. The press, during the press, there is a new newspapers like Namaste Telangana was established, and some newspapers renamed, like earlier it is, for example, Vishalandra and Praja Shakti, the titles is earlier in the United Andhra Pradesh. Later, Nava Telangana and Mana Telangana, the newspapers and many news channels came up during the movement and after the movement. Now we are seeing many YouTube channels, that is different, but the main press is electronic media, print media are the main press, not the YouTube channels. Just here we go with the history again. The first Telugu journal was Satyaduta, Dawn of the Truth, published in Madras by the Christian Association of Bellary. This is not a newspaper exactly, but this is in the form of news, in a paper, in a printed form. This is a journal. It is focusing on the religion orientation of news, information only. So that is why this is called only journal, not as a newspaper. The early Telugu journals were in Sanskritized Hebrew literary in Telugu. Some of them like Tattva Bodhini were started by the Ved Samaj to counteract missionary propaganda, and Tattva Bodhini became immensely popular after it serialized the Big Veda. So they are giving only these two are here is a Tattva Bodhini and Satyaruta. Those two are mainly focused on the religion orientation only. But those are the printed journals. Just here we are discussing the history orientation, so we want to know about the printed journals also. The earliest Telugu journals were prompted by the missionaries and were mostly intended for religious propaganda. The first Telugu journal, a monthly called Satyaduta, was published from Bellary in 1835. Printed in Madras, it concentrated on propagating the gospel of Christ. And another paper is Dina Vartamani, a weekly, came out in 1861 and it ceased publication after 7 years.
So 1868 they closed it.
Yes. The first news weekly. Here is the focusing on the main newspapers like Andhra Prakasika. Wait a minute. The first newspaper, Andhra Prakasika, edited by
Parthasarathy Naidu. You are on mute, sir. So you are on mute.
Yeah, coming. The first news weekly, Andhra Takashka, edited by A.P. Parthasarathi Naidu, appeared in 1885 as a supporter of the National Congress, which had then been formed. And another important newspaper is from the Telugu Telangana region and Andhra Pradesh, means Telugu region. Earlier, Ballari also is a Telugu region only. Many of the Ballari people who are from the Telugu origin only. Now it is went to the under the Karnataka state limits. Even though the Ballari is also Telugu people, Telugu speaking place only earlier. The Andhra Patrika, which has a unique place in the history of Telugu journalism, was born as a weekly in Bombay in 1908. It was started by K. Nageshwar Rao Pantulu. Just here you have to remember 2 or 3 newspapers and the printed place. In case if you remember, you may remember it is the year. Otherwise, you just leave it. But in the coming to the historical orientation, you have to give, because you are not remembering the all years. Just you are remembering only a few numbers of the years of the newspaper. So you may write down a notes and just remind it or 2 or 3 times. You will remember it in the while you are attending your exam, your question. The Andhra Pradesh, another one is from Bombay, started by K. Nageshwar Rao Pantulu. Those 2 are the important from the Telugu region, not from the not from the Nizam period, not from the Nizam area, Nizam state or Madras province or present day of Karnataka. But those are the 2 are the important Telugu journals, Telugu newspapers. And again, one more is from the Nizam state. The first Telugu journal was started in 1912 by Srinivas Sharma from Mahbub Nagar. So here we have to treat it like, so there is not much freedom in the Nizam period. Actually, the press freedom, the press printing of newspapers was started in the 70-80 only from the Bengal by the Britishers. After 1830s, significance of starting of newspapers like the Times of India, the Hindu are started. Coming to the Nizam state, in the Nizam state also there is some 1 or 2 newspapers related to the Hindu and the Indian Express also there, but a few. There is no such a freedom in the Nizam period. So that is why a few have started their publications in the Nizam state. Out of them, very Telugu, even the Telugu newspapers also a few is there. And another one is Hitabodhini, Sarojini Vilas. These are other 2 important newspapers which were published in the Nizam state. In 1917, Swami Venkatrao of the Divine Light Society started a monthly journal called Andhra Mat from Secunderabad, but it did not survive behind 8 months. So earlier ages only, because of, even though in British controlled India and Nizam state also, there is a curbs on the press. So there is no press freedom. So no newspaper survived more than the 2 years or within a month, even though within a month they are ended up their publication, their printing. Coming to the history of Telugu, journals, Telugu journals or newspapers, just from the 1992 only. Then after 1917, another paper, and most significant newspapers from the 1920s, like V. Sita Ramachandra Rao and Raghava Rao. These two were they called Oddiraju brothers. Oddiraju Sita Ramachandra Rao and Oddiraju Raghava Rao started a Telugu weekly called Telugu Patrika in 1920. Another one is Andhra Abhyudayam in 1920. Another one is Shaiva Pracharini from Warangal in 1923. Another one in 1925. Nedu is a newspaper started by Sri Bhaskar in a bi-weekly newspaper from Secunderabad. And Bhagyanagar Patrika is another newspaper bought out by Bhagya Reddy in 1925. And another newspaper is Sujata by T.N. Sharma in 1927. And another one is these are some eminent newspapers. Initial stage of the starting of Telugu publications in the Nizam period. That is what we are discussing here. There is a list is given in the textbook. Just you go with the textbook. There is a list. So whatever you have remember, you may mention it in your answer. If not, just you go with the narration model. Okay. In the year 1923, English newspapers in the Nizam period, the Hindu published a series of articles by the famous journalist Nihal Singh under the caption Hyderabad Today. Actually, there is no particular newspaper circulated in the Nizam newspaper with the name of the Hindu only, but there is a separate paper. Like nowadays, we are seeing a separate tablet in our newspapers, like in the Hindu and the Times of India. The Hyderabad Times is like so. Earlier is the Hyderabad Today is 2 pages devoted to the Nizam state. Another one is the New India English Daily published the proceedings of Hyderabad State Conference held in 1926 in its newspaper under the heading of Misrule of Nizam. It was published on 1st December 1926. Even though there is no English newspapers are publishing from the Nizam state, only a few of Telugu and a few of from Urdu also publishing during the Nizam period. So coming to the Urdu newspapers, the Khurshid-e-Dakkan was the first newspaper from Hyderabad, which started its publication in 1883 under the editorship Sultan Muhammad Dehlavi. Khurshid-e-Dakkan, Azar-e-Dastan, Afsarul Akbar, Akbari Asafi, Mushir-e-Dakkan were the newspapers belong to the early phase of Urdu journalism in Nizam state. Here up to English and Urdu. Just we are discussing in this unit English and Urdu. There is no English even in the Nizam period, but just Urdu newspapers and Telugu newspapers are published in the Nizam state, and a separate like 2 pages separate tablet page. 2 pages are devoted the Hindu and the New Indian Express. Also devoted some news for the Nizam state. We'll discuss about the Madras presidency of Andhra. Then the Andhra Pradesh is under the Madras presidency. C.P. Brown. Here we have to discuss the important person. C.P. Brown is introduction to his Telugu English Dictionary published in 1852. That is the major part of the major point to publish newspapers, because the C.P. Brown published a dictionary based on some. Then after, the newspapers means Telugu journalism was played means initial stages started based on this dictionary only. Vrittamanini and Varta Mantarangini, some others like Daiva Samajan. These are some initial stages newspapers were published in Andhra area of
So, sir,
Madras
during
Presidency.
Nizam era, there were only English newspapers, some Telugu newspapers, and then couple of Urdu newspapers.
In Nizam period, in Nizam state, there is a English and there is a Telugu and Urdu. But coming to the Madras Presidency, there is already established English newspapers. Means similar age, the similar years of the time only, there is a publication started by the Hindu from the Madras. So there is a English newspaper and circulated all over the Madras Presidency. The Andhra Pradesh region, now present day Andhra Pradesh, is a part of the Madras Presidency region. There is some other newspapers like small newspapers. All these are the weeklies, bi-weeklies, and again we have discussed in earlier unit Andhra Patrika, Andhra Prakashika. Those are from the Andhra Pradesh, region Andhra Pradesh only, region Andhra only. Those are the main Telugu newspapers, initial stages of the Telugu newspapers. Vivekavardhini of Veereshalingam began its glorious career in October 1874 as a monthly journal published from Rajamandri, and Satya Samvardhini in 1891, Satyavadini, Desha Bhimani, Devaguptam, Desha Bhimani from the Bejawada. Bejawada means nowadays of Vijayawada, 1896. Its editor was Devaguptam Seshachalapati. Some of these are some important Telugu. Even only the weeklies and bi-weeklies, no Telugu dailies. One or two, Telugu Prakashika and Telugu Andhra Patrika, Andhra Prakashika and Andhra Patrika. These two are initially the weeklies, then the daily became a dailies also. Even Andhra Patrika run some 40 up to 40 years ago, means 1990 also. Ended up in 1980s, Andhra Patrika, some 45-50 years ago. Krishna Patrika is also another major newspaper from the Telugu. The most noteworthy of the journals that were started approximately at the turn of the century was the Krishna Patrika from Machilipatnam. It came out as a weekly in 1902 on behalf of the Krishna District Association. Konda Venkatapaya and Dasu Narayan Rao were its first editors. And some of other Telugu eminent journalists of the Telugu region, Telangana and means Nizam period and Madras Presidency. Kashinadini Nageshwar Rao, Veereshalingam Pantulu, Devagupta Seshachal Rao, Matnuri Krishna Rao, some of the eminent journalists of the Telugu region. We have now it's a time to conclude the session. Any doubts? Because already we are running late by the 15 minutes. Any questions?
Yes.
Any doubts? Once I will share these PowerPoint presentations, all 1 to 12 to you. And if anyone required, just you type your name and admission number and send to my mobile number 9985011936. Your name and your admission number 9985011936.
That is your number. That is your number, right?
Yes.
I sent it to you, right?
Oh, okay.
Should I resend it to you?
No, I have received from you. Just I am asking any others.
The others, okay.
Okay. 9985011936. You just quote your name and admission number. Then I will send you the PPTs of these 12 lessons. Okay?
Sure, sir. You will share this PPT.
Sure. I will send you all the learners who are requested at a time by the evening or tomorrow.
Sure.
Right.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Right. उठा के मैं तो अपने काम सीखने वाले सब देखने वाले भागने वाले सीखा है और बात करो कभी काम हो जाए
क्लच फायर भी डाल दिया, टूट गया था क्लच फायर, तो फिर वही डाल देना था। हाँ, कौन सा पुराना नया हो गया, अल्टर करें, नहीं मिला डॉट बोलिए जरा तेन क्या शुरू होगा रेहान तो सब चीज जरूरी है। मेरे पास नहीं है, मैं कैसे दूं? मैं कहाँ से दूं? मोहिश भाई को कल नहीं, मोहिश भाई को नहीं बुला सकते, कल अगर भेजते तो मैं बोलता था पक्का है आज का, और कल भेजे तुम कल की भेजते हो। बारिश, अच्छा बारिश होके खत्म हो गई थी 6 बजे, बारिश होके खत्म हो चुकी थी 6 बजे। हाँ तो ठीक है, कार में डाल के लाना था, वो है ना रिटर्न, मेरे क्या मालूम थे होंगे।